Okay, guys, so we're back, and we've got the refines for the March batch. So we'll go ahead and take a look at these, and in the meantime, the rest of the data mines for the bunny banner should be up and running. All right, so we got Roshea going first for his refine. Oh, his was only a 1-pager. That's not a good sign. Then again, he is a 3-star. Okay, we have Baby Boyd. All right, at least he's got 2 pages. All right, then we have Baby Larichel, who has some very big shoes to fill with that Baby Tana refine. And then we got Astrid, who should end up being a decent rally bot with favor skills. Okay, then we have Flavia, who is just basically a God Sword unit. Hard to say what she's going to do. Legendary Hinoka, one of my favorite releases of all time. Very fun unit back in her heyday. And then we have, of course, Legendary Robin, another very fun, very meta unit back in his heyday. So let's go ahead and start things off here with the Roshea refine. Or is it Roshea? Is it Roshea or is it Roshea? How do you say this? Roshea? I mean, that's how it looks like it's spelt. Alright, whatever. You guys will let me know. Okay, so at the start of player phase or enemy phase, grants preempt, pulse, and attack liberate to unit and allies in 2 spaces a unit for 1 turn. Grants all stats up 5 to unit, reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15, and recover 7 HP to unit when unit deals damage to the foe during combat. Then we have Kanto Rem +1 with a min of 2, and then grants all stats of 5 a unit, neutralize penalties on unit, and unit deals +20 damage during combat. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. For a unit like this, who's just a 3-star regular unit on banners, that you could easily +10 by this point. It's okay, but it's not acceptable, unfortunately. Alright, let's move on to Baby Boyd. Now, he's going to be a Tempest Trial option, so another easy to +10 unit, but let's see if he's actually any good. So we have here attack up 3, grants all stats up X to unit. On odd number turns, X is 10. On even number turns, X is 5. Neutralize penalties on unit, and unit deals +Y damage during combat. On odd number turns, Y is 30. On even number turns, Y is 20. And excluding on AoEs, and then recover 7 HP after combat. Then he has HP up 5. For unit and allies in 3 rows or 3 columns centered on unit. Grants all stats of 5. Makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. And grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack. They couldn't have tossed exposure in there. Like, okay, if they wanted to say exposure is too good, why not just exposure on odd number turns, considering that's where he's getting most of his stuff. Alright, and then also reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15 during combat. Doesn't even get a further 15 on enemy specials. At least on odd number turns, right? Because, like, this guy, they kept his gimmick of being, like, even more effective on odd number turns. So they could have gave him a little bit more on odd number turns if they wanted to, like, balance it a little more. Okay. Alright, whatever. Okay, so Baby Larichel calculates damage from staff like other weapons, -1 special trigger. At start of turn and after unit acts. If Kanto triggers, then after Kanto. Inflicts speed and res -7, exposure, and flash on the closest foes and any foes in 2 spaces of them. So now she does the flash at start of turn. Before, I believe she had to hit the enemies. Or I think it was the nearest enemy within 5 spaces of her. So now it's just like unlimited range, which is obviously much better. Alright, then also grants attack and speed up 6 and defense and res up 5 to unit. Neutralize effects that inflict guard on unit. And grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack. Okay. Alright, then also gets all stats up 10. Unit deals +20 damage. And also, if decreasing the speed difference necessary to make a follow-up by 10 would allow a unit to trigger a follow-up, then you get Potent 100. Okay, this one is actually pretty good compared to the first 2 we looked at. We weren't setting a very high bar, though, looking at the free-to-play units first. But this one is actually usable. You're going to have to give her the new special from the Legendary Elise. that 5-hit staff special, but she seems pretty solid. She's doing a lot of damage. She's got Potent 100. She's got Flash support, which is pretty good. So this one is not too shabby. All right, next up we have Astrid. So effective against flying, speed up 3. If a rally or movement assist is used by unit, target can move 1 extra space. That turn only, doesn't stack, and no effect on cavalry allies with a ranged weapon. And grants another action to unit once per turn. If another effect that grants action to unit has been activated at the same time, this effect is also considered to have been triggered. So that's with stuff like Micaiah Ring or Divine Nectar. You can only use one of them at a time. Alright, then if a rally or movement assist is used by unit, grants attack and speed up 6, fringe bonus, and preempt pulse to allies in 2 spaces of both unit and target. Ooh. Alright, we take that. Alright, then also we have grants attack and speed up 6 and defense and res up 5 to unit. Neutralize foes' bonuses and neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-ups and prevent units follow-ups. And then Kanto Rem with a min of 1, grants all stats of 10, unit deals plus 20 damage, and reduce damage from foes' attacks by 7. Okay. I mean, she's basically just doubling down as a rally bot, which was what we wanted her to do. So you want to give her favor in the B skill, and then she can be a solid rally bot. Also, obviously, you want to give her Byleth Ring, so she can rally and then dance at the same time. So, yeah, I mean, not the worst. As a dancer, a makeshift dancer with Byleth Ring, she actually seems okay. All right, next up we have Flavia. This unit, I have no idea what they're going to do with, so this one's a mystery. -1 special trigger. For unit and allies in 3 rows or 3 columns. Centered on unit, grants attack and speed up 6 and defense and res up 5. Grants special clown charge +1 per attack during combat. And if special triggers, disables foes' non-special skills that reduce damage reduction during combat. Okay. Also reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15 and neutralize effects that grant special cooldown charge +X to foe during combat. Foes with range of 1 can't move through spaces adjacent to unit. So she has Bulwark. Yeah, foes with range of 2 can't move through spaces within 2 spaces. And then grants attack all stats of 10, deals +20 damage, and neutralize effects that inflict guard. How good is this? It's okay. I wish they would have put exposure on this drive. Like, the more of these Crux debuffs and buffs that have exposure, the better. And it's just an easy way to just make them better. I mean, what are you getting out of this? Attack and speed and defense and res? For some reason, the defense and res is only 5, but the attack and speed is 6. They do this every so often, and I can't even fathom what the logic is behind this. Why not just do all stats up 6? Why is it defense and res 5, but attack and speed 6? Doesn't make any sense to me, but it is what it is. And then when you proc a special, you nullify enemies' DR, which, well, pierceable DR, which we've seen this already. There was an Earthooz that had this ability, but it needs to be a little bit more, man. We need a little more out of these Cruxes. Okay. All right, now Hinoka. So we get to the remixes, so hopefully these are going to be good. Enables Kanto Distant with a max of 3 and a min of 1. -1 special trigger, effective against flying and armor. Grants attack and speed of 6 and defense and res of 5 to unit. Unit deals +25 damage. And neutralize effects that guarantee foes follow-ups and prevent units follow-ups. And if unit has weapon triangle advantage or speed higher than the foe speed, then you get fire sweep. Then also, at the start of turn and after unit acts, inflicts speed and defense -7, sabotage, and exposure on the closest foes and any foes in 2 spaces of them. And then grants all stats of 10 and reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15 during combat. A little irrelevant. she's relying on Fire Sweep in the first place, so, like, getting DR there, and not to say that it doesn't always mean nothing, because sometimes the enemies will have Null C, but I would rather they just double down and just turn her into this cracked out offensive unit. Like, how about 15 more points of true damage there to combo with the 25 she already gets on weapon? Like, that would have been crazy. But no, they gave her DR there. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's solid, especially when you consider her new C skill, Rallying Cry 2, or whatever it was, Rallying Cry Plus. She seems like she's going to be pretty okay. Yeah, like, True Charge support is good. You're getting a debuff start of turn with speed and defense, sabotage, and exposure. The most common one for these physical units. It's the same one as Valentine Edelgard. But then she's getting quite a bit of stats. She's getting a decent amount of true damage there. I feel like I would have wanted, like, one more thing. But it's okay. All right, and then finally, Robin. So what are they going to do with this guy? I mean, he's also kind of a mystery because it's not like we have true grand strategy or something. So, -1 special trigger. At start of player phase or enemy phase, grants grand strategy to unit and allies in 2 spaces. Inflicts all stats -4 on unit through its next action, and inflicts -6 on the highest and second highest stat values between attack speed, defense, and res for each ally in 2 spaces of unit through the next actions. Subtract 15 for attack when comparing. And then at the start of player phase or enemy phase and after unit acts, if Canso triggers after Canso, then inflicts all stats -7, sabotage, and discord on the closest foes and any foe in 3 spaces of those foes through the next actions. Okay, that was massively buffed. Before, it was just all stats -3 with no range restriction. Now it's all stats -7, and he's getting some extra bonuses there. Sabotage and discord, pretty good. Okay. Alright, then also inflicts attack speed and res -5 on the foes. Foe can't make a follow-up, and reduce damage from foes' attacks by 15. Giving DR on this guy is pretty good, because he is trying to be a stat ball. So, DR on a unit like this does matter. Okay, then also grants weapon triangle advantage against colorless, and inflicts weapon triangle disadvantage on colorless. Grants all stats of 10, and unit deals +25 damage. Again, just like with Hinoka, I wish there was like one more thing in here. His refined ace skill is pretty good, but man, they're like really close. They're just missing like 1 or 2 more effects to push both of them into top tier meta, unfortunately. But it is what it is. We've seen a couple of refines and remixes like this before where they do seem to hold back a little because they don't want older units to just dominate the meta again. But it will be fun being able to use these guys again because they were very, very relevant units back in the day. As far as who I think won this batch, man, that's kind of hard to say because we're getting a little bit of everything here. Like, a lot of these units are doing very different things, whereas I don't think the free-to-play units are doing much. Roshea and Boyd are not going to be winning this batch. I think you could make an argument for Larichel. You could make one for Astrid. And then you could make one for Hinoka and Robin. I would say that, like, Robin's going to be the stat ball unit. Also the support unit giving stats to allies. Hinoka is just going to be the, like, glass cannon. They gave her 15 DR, but come on, she's a glass cannon. We all know this. So she's going to be hitting hard, but she's going to be very reliant on that fire sweep. Then we have also Astrid, who's going to be a nice rally bot with dance potential with the Byleth ring. So, yeah, that's pretty much everything in these refines. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and we'll come back in just a sec, and we'll take a look at the rest of the data mines.